Welcome to Rider Nation Station, presented by American Manufacturing Solutions, your total logistics partner, investing in Rider Nation Station and St. Mary's, Ohio, and to our other fine sponsors.
Well, hello once again, everyone, and welcome to the Doug Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert, along with head coach Doug Frye. And, Coach, it's really hard to believe that 10 weeks ago we were sitting here getting ready for the Sydney game. The regular season has come to a conclusion. As we get ready for playoff time, the Rough Riders at home, undefeated to start the inaugural season at Grand Lake Health Systems Field. So your comments on the season.
Well, it is unbelievable. It's game 10. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But what we did at home was very, very gratifying, especially kicking off a new stadium and a new season there. So we were real happy to be able to honor the stadium and honor the start by being able to do that. Obviously, it's almost like it was two different seasons. You know, as we started out and got off to a rough start and started to rebound after that and fought back from the injuries. So, you know, it has been definitely a lot of plugging guys in and trying to maybe speed up the maturation process a little bit.
Well, in the Western Buckeye League, of course, in case you haven't heard, Wapak and Kenton are co-WBL champions for the 2019 season. Both were 8-1 with league records. Wapak had the best record overall in the Western Buckeye League. They finished the season 9-1. Of course, the Riders finished 8-2 in overall and 7-2 in the Western Buckeye League, and they tied with OG in as far as their record is concerned. Wapak defeated OG last week 7-6. That was there was a lot of people that went to that ball game. That did not disappoint, did it?
Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like it was a whale of a game.
And of course, Kenton easily defeated Elida by a score of 35-6. The playoffs are upon us, and before we get into the pairings and the matchings and the way the teams in the area in the Western Buckeye League finished, Coach, you mentioned earlier prior to our going on the air is that there's some consideration about expanding the playoffs. Explain that.
Well, they're talking about going from 8 to 12 teams, Joe, and you know that's always good when you get more teams in the playoffs, but the concern I have is just what the other things that have to be done. You're going to take a week out of preseason practice, maybe cut back to one scrimmage to prepare you for the season, and it used to be 3 when I was growing up and coming through, and you're back to 1. So I'm a little concerned about the injury possibilities early in the season. I'm concerned about pushing into other sports.
Mm-hmm. Well, Division III, Region 12, Wapak finished second in the region. St. Mary's finished 6th. Of course, Trotwood Madison at 7-3 will take on Wapakoneta over at Harmon Field in Wapak. And, of course, the St. Mary's Rough Riders will be on the road. They will be taking on Franklin, who finished the regular season 9-1, and we'll talk a little bit more about them as the show progresses. In Division 4, Region 14, the Ottawa-Glandorf Titans finished 6th, and they will travel to Gallion and take on Gallion, who comes in with a record of 8 wins and 2 losses. Of course, OG 7-3. And in Division 5, Region 16, Kenton finished 4th. They will be at home, and they will take on Cincinnati Indian Hills, who comes in with a record of 8-2. So that's kind of way the playoff pairings shape up as far as the Western Buckeye League teams is concerned. Coach and I are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the final game of the regular season, their win over the Defiance Bulldogs. We'll do that and more when we come back right after this.
If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, your job is made easy with Scott Ross Realty. Contact one of their hardworking, well-trained agents today at 419-305-4373 for all of your home buying and selling needs. Scott Ross Realty, wishing all Rough Rider sports good luck.
Welcome back to the Doug Frye Show on Rider Nation Station. We want to remind you that Zach Farrell and I will be traveling with the Rough Riders to Franklin to be bringing you the first round of the quarterfinals of the Division III Region 12 playoffs. So join us Friday night. We'll go on the air approximately 6:45 with the pregame. 7 o'clock is the kickoff. We'll hope you'll join us then. Coach, You concluded with a win over Defiance, 48-6. And when Defiance came out and scored 6 points, I thought, wow, they scored in a hurry. But really, in all honesty, that was it. The Riders then ran off 48 unanswered points. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Joe, I'd like to congratulate all the WBL teams that have made it into the playoffs. It's good to see the league represented by 4 different teams and wish them the best of luck in week 1. And it's great for our league. But I didn't think we came out and played like we were capable of early. I thought Defiance did. And you know, sometimes when you're dealing with high school kids and they're talking playoffs a little bit and you're trying to keep them on the same page and focused. So, but them scoring was probably just what we needed. It woke us up and got us going a little bit, and then I thought we started to play a lot better.
Well, the Riders finished with 301 yards of total offense. 182 of those yards came by your seniors, and that's just the leadership that you expect from your seniors. One drive, you went 94 yards on 10 plays, and that resulted in a touchdown, so that had to be pleasing as well.
Absolutely. We had a couple long drives, which we were very accustomed to in the past. We haven't had a lot of those this year. And, yeah, I thought our seniors, like I said, after that first drive, we woke up and our seniors did a great job.
Let's take a look at some offensive clips from last Friday night here. Kurt Bupp, really, in all honesty, on this particular play, he makes something out of nothing, and all of a sudden he just finds an open receiver and just shovels it out to him.
You really can't coach that.
No, you can't.
That's a good job as a screen pass, and he got the ball to freshman Aiden Hinkle right there, and that's a great job by Kurt.
And that's what you expect from your seniors.
Absolutely. And here's 2 seniors hooking up here on the next clip that's coming up, too.
Kurt Bupp hits Ty Howell for a 39-yard touchdown pass. Ty gets behind the defense, does a little juggling act for the fans in the end, and pulls in this touchdown.
I don't know about that. It's not good for his coach right there. He needs to hang on to that right away is what he needs to do. So, but, yeah, well done.
Good blocking up front, and keeping the Defiance defense back.
Right.
This next one, of course, Ross Henshin had a great ball game. This one here he scores from 19 yards out. He adds another dimension at fullback. He has that quickness. He's not very big, but when he breaks through the line, he's just a north and south type of runner.
I just love Ross's coachability, work ethic, toughness, and really we have 3 different styles, and we could put a 4th one in there of fullbacks that we can use in the middle there, and losing Slosser really hurt us at fullback, but we've kind of filled that with a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman in there, and we actually have a couple other guys we could move over there if need be. So.
And here's another run by Ross Henshin. He just pops through the hole and just heads downfield.
His vision in there, Joe, is really good. See how I made that cut right there at the beginning? And he reminds me of maybe some old school St. Mary's fullbacks we've had through the years if you look at the old tapes, and he just has a great vision.
When I saw that play on Friday night, I actually thought that the play was thrown for a loss because the Defiance defense tackled the ball. I thought who the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage. The next thing I know, I look up and he's 15 yards downfield. Our next play is just a perfectly executed pass from Kurt Bupp to Carson Fishbuck. You can't draw this up any better than this.
Absolutely. We moved Fishbuck out there, Carson, a couple weeks ago, and have been messing with him at the split a little bit. And Kurt does a great job putting the ball right on the money. That's super.
Here's the same play just from a different angle.
Wow, that's perfect.
You just can't hand it to him any better than that. This next clip is Blake Knorrs. I think this is his first TD, and I have to laugh, and I'll tell you why. This is his first TD catch of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if he catches it or inhales it, but he, irregardless, scored a touchdown. But I told every time we throw this in practice, I tell Blake, hey, that's just like a sub or a cheeseburger right there, man. Just take that baby in and catch it.
Well, here's what was funny. When Trey Frazier went out to give him a high five, they kind of chest bumped, and the next thing you know, Trey Fisher is on his back on the ground. He literally flattened him out. I saw
the hit right there, and I told Blake if he did that to Trey again, he's gonna have to give him mouth to mouth or something out there on the field. So it was a hard hit, and they were excited.
And then this last play here, we didn't have this individual's name in the program, but 45 here just bust one off an excellent run.
Braden Sullivan, who's a freshman that was up with us here, and we had I had all the freshmen up for this ball game, and they'll be with us in the playoffs. And he's a good young kid that's working real hard, so it's always good to see that.
And on the defensive side of the football, as I mentioned, Defiance came out. They scored the first 6 points of the ball game, and then the defense held them scoreless for the rest of the game. Talk about how your defense performed.
All season we've been improving on that side of the ball, and it's been different people all the way along. We're in a 50 front here, so we've got 5 D linemen in, and we're playing more of those kids, and Brandon Paul and Lucas Walter. I can't say enough good things about Lucas Walter and his improvement, his leadership at linebacker. He's done a great job. But I thought overall after that first score, the defense did a nice job.
Mm-hmm. We'll take a look at some clips of the defense here. Ty Howell has a pick 6, but it's going to be called back because of a penalty.
Correct, and Ty is in good coverage there, steps right in. That's film work right there is what that is. And look at the guys downfield trying to get blocks. There's good blocks all the way around. They call something in there that was illegal, but just well executed.
And I thought up front, Trace Mabry had a good ball game. Mm-hmm. On this one here, you're going to see him make a pretty good stop.
Yeah, Trace is a very gifted defensive lineman right there, and that's just well done right there. Good tackle.
And, of course, you look at all the blue shirts around the ball carrier. On this particular play, the defense flushes quarterback Cruz out of the pocket, and, again, Trace Mabry's there to clean up.
Right. There were some missed sacks we had here. We're talking to our kids about that in practice this week, but I thought we got good pressure back there, and you see it kind of runs by us, but Trace makes a nice roll tackle right there. And that's the way we teach tackling now to cut down on injuries, by the way. We roll into it and keep the head out of it.
And on this one, Blake Knorr shows why he's one of the best defensive linemen in the Western Buckeye League.
Yeah, he's a player. I think I calculated the other day for the awards, he had 370 tackles in his career here at St. Mary's, and that's just amazing.
Yeah. And then Lucas Walter. Lucas had an opportunity to intercept one earlier, and that one didn't happen. But this one here, he was able to pick up a fumble and go 41 yards for a touchdown. So good job.
Yeah, it's always good to see. And the ball was stripped out here, I believe, by Brandon Paul, junior linebacker, and Lucas is able to scoop it and get to the end zone, show his wheels there at the end. So.
Our next clip, Aiden Eigenbrod picks off a Defiance pass, and he returns it for good yardage.
Aiden did a nice job here. He's a junior that had not played football till last year, his sophomore year, and he continues to get better. And I think he's a young man you're going to see a lot of in the secondary next year.
And then after Defiance scored their first touchdown, this is their point after, and literally Ty Howell comes untouched to block the extra point.
Our guys on the side there, Tanner Howe, Trey Fisher, force the edge down. We get good middle pressure, and Ty has the ability to come off the edge and block that, and it's well done. Good inside pressure by Walter, too, so well done.
So the Rough Riders will need a little bit more of that this week when we take on Franklin, the Wildcats, in the Division III regional quarterfinals down in Franklin. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Franklin Wildcats when we come back on the Doug Frye Show. You're watching the Doug Frye Show on Rider Nation Station. We'll be right back.
Vogel's Bake Shop, making thousands of fresh donuts daily. Open 7 days a week with stores at St. Mary's, Salina, and Walpock. Also now found in Wagner's IGA at New Bremen, Minster, and Fort Laramie.
Coach, the Rough Riders are on the road, the first round of the playoffs, regional quarterfinal, traveling down to Franklin, a team that you're somewhat familiar with. Their head coach, Brad Childers, is in his 6th year there. He's compiled a record of 35 wins, 18 losses. They'll be playing on Friday at Franklin Lions Community Park down there, so we'll be there to bring you all the action. We'll be on the air about 6:45 with the pregame show. Our kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. So tell us a little bit about their style. They've got some decent offensive players, and of course the thing that I've seen from their roster is they're not big. They're extremely big.
Yes, they are. First of all, Coach Childers was on my staff when I was the head coach of the South team in 2016 after the 16 season, and he does a great job with the program. It's a well-built program. Luke Kennard, who's playing for the Pistons now, has come from there and was a quarterback for him, and they've had athletes through the years. And the difference, if a lot of our fans went to the 16 game, the difference you're going to see is they're bigger in the trenches than they were in 16, and you're just physically big kids, and they're almost a complete 2-platoon team. Play a few guys on both sides of the ball. Had a couple guys transfer in from Miamisburg and Middletown, which has helped their athleticism on both sides of the ball. And scheme-wise, they're pretty much the same. Scheme-wise, it'd be a lot like the teams we've seen during the season, the spread, OG-type scheme-wise. So they remind me a lot of Ottawa Glandorf scheme-wise.
Okay, offensively, they come in averaging 28 points a ball game. Of course, their quarterback is Braden Woods. He's a 3-year starter for them. Of course, their running back, Gage Johnson, another good athlete back there. But here's what sticks out. They've got an offensive tackle, Nick Bax, 6'5", 310 pounds. Their offensive center, Cajun Allen, is just a junior, 6'3", 305 pounds. So again, they've got some athleticism at the skilled positions, but of course, they've got big people up front.
Well, they're the Southwestern Buckeye League champions. They lost one game. They lost to Xenia, who the old GWalk League. It's the MVL now. And Xenia had played Sydney. I believe Sydney got beat 20-0 by them. And it was a 1-point loss, I believe, to Franklin they had. So, and Xenia's in the playoffs in D2. So we're having our hands full.
When you talk about the Western Buckeye League as compared to the Southwestern Buckeye League, how do these two conferences match up?
I think they're very similar. There's been a lot of games that have been crossover games in the past and similar leagues.
And defensively, a lot of their players go both ways, so you'll see the same type of guys on the offensive front, on the defensive front?
Not as many as in the past, and I think that's probably one of the big differences. They're not playing as many guys on both sides of the ball, and they're bigger.
They're bigger. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with some final thoughts from Coach Frye when we return right after this. Whether your goals include college education funding, retirement planning, generating income, or reducing taxes, at Glass Daringer Investment Management, we've got you covered. Stop in and speak with Jeff Daringer or Kevin Glass at 100 West Spring Street today. Glass Daringer Investment Management, securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Welcome back once again to the Doug Frye Show. Joe Hurlbert along with head coach Doug Frye on Rider Nation Station. Coach, what's it going to take for the Rough Riders to go to Franklin and come back with a W?
Well, we got to go on an hour-and-a-half bus trip there down there, so that's not what we're used to, maybe a longer Defiance trip. So we're going to have to get off that bus ready to play the game of football and be ready to go. And, you compare years and you compare systems and this and that, but in 16, the guys that are playing now are young kids for us, as they were for Franklin. So we're going to have to be ready to play right from the beginning. And we're going to have to do what we do extremely well. And obviously we're not going to go to complete spread attack on offense. We're going to be a wing T team when we go into the game. We're going to play defense the way we do, and we're going to have to take advantage of it. But the quiet factor is the special teams all the time, and that's going to be big. As
far as pregame preparation, things will pretty much stay status quo as they have on a regular Friday night?
Well, we're going to have to leave a little earlier to get through Dayton now, and we're going to stop to eat on the way down because that kind of messes up our lunch schedule, so there really is because of the Dayton traffic, there's really no way around that. The good thing is in 2011 when I was head coach at Wapakoneta, we played at Franklin, so we're going to follow the same itinerary we did. So from my standpoint, it was a little easier because we've done that before.
Well, we wish you the best as you take on the Franklin Wildcats this Friday in regional quarterfinal action of the state playoffs, and again, we wish you well.
Thank you, Joe.
That concludes this edition of the Doug Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert alongside Doug Frye, and again, reminding you that we'll be at Franklin to bring you the broadcast with the Rough Riders and the Franklin Wildcats at 6:45 on Friday. We hope you join us then. For Coach Frye, I'm Joe Hurlbert. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Doug Frye Show. We'll see you next time. So long, everyone.
This episode of Rider Nation Station has been sponsored by American Manufacturing Solutions, your total logistic partner, investing in the St. Mary's community.
Vogel's Bake Shop, making thousands of fresh donuts daily, open 7 days a week with stores in St. Mary's, Salina, and Walpock. Also now found in Wagner's IGA in New Bremen, Minster, and Fort Laramie. Whether your goals include college education funding, retirement planning, generating income, or reducing taxes, at Glass Daringer Investment Management, we've got you covered. Stop in and speak with Jeff Daringer or Kevin Glass at 100 West Spring Street today. Glass Daringer Investment Management, securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC.